Woohoo! It's a party in the kitchen. So I'm making zucchini bread, and I really needed to I really needed to use these zucchinis. So I am peeling them because the skins are kind of wimpy and soft. And since the whole zucchini is kind of a little bit sad and a little soft, they're still good. But they're just too soft to want to grate by hand. My mom got me a little surprise. Woohoo! She got me what I like to call an e-grater. I made that up myself. Just kidding. She really got me a grater that attaches to a KitchenAid, so I don't have to grate it by hand. And boy howdy, it came in handy. She actually just got it for me a few weeks before I filmed this, so surprise! Thanks, Mom! I love it. I've used it quite a few times. I also love cheese, so grated cheese, but I like to grate it myself. It's just so much better. So I'll get the blocks of cheese and grate it, so I can just grate it in bulk. Here we go. Just chopping the zucchinis. Okay, so I only need a cup of grated zucchini, and after, there's a few different attachments to put in the grater. I flashed it real quick right there. I thought I was filming while grating, but apparently I wasn't. Anyway, so there's a few attachments, and I read it after I grated it. It says finely grated zucchini. Well, I couldn't even taste the zucchini in the bread anyways. It just, makes you feel slightly healthier having some sort of vegetable type thing in your bread. Anyway, so it also says finely grated and squeezed with a cheesecloth. I don't have a cheesecloth. I have dishcloths. So I got a clean dishcloth and I squeezed it. And the dishcloth was kind of green. Okay, it wasn't that bad, but it was slightly green, and I just washed it after this. So the recipe called for 3 eggs. So that's what I went and did. And then it called for a ripe banana. I had half of a banana that was ripe, and so I used that, and then I used half of a fresh banana. Well, I used a ripe banana. That honey I was showing you because this is the only honey I really use. I have other honey in my cupboard, but it's been in there for a few years because I only use this one. This is Halves honey. You can look them up online. I think it's halvesbees.com maybe. It's delicious, and yes, it's caramelized, mine is, but baking with caramelized honey is great. You can replace, I looked it up once, up to a cup of regular sugar with honey, I think it is, but it's delicious. I just put the couple tablespoons of honey in there, I put the banana in there, no other sugar, and it was delicious. Okay, so I had lots of leftover zucchini because, like I said, I only needed a cup of zucchini, and I already got that out. Anyway, so my bread pan, I greased it with some coconut oil, and later I do powder it with a little bit of coconut flour. Again, this is coconut flour zucchini bread, and it's sweetened with honey and banana instead of sugar. So just trying to live my best life, not eat a ton of white sugar. So I try to replace it with honey or maple syrup, bananas, dates. A lot of people who try to do less sugar just eat dates and everything. I'm just not that much of a date lover. I do love dates. You take a date and you warm it up in the oven, and then you cut it. Well, you have to cut it and take the pit out, but you cut it, you take the pit out, you warm it up in the oven, and you put some nut butter inside, peanut butter, almond butter, mixed nut butter, whatever, inside, because dates are really sweet, and then you have the bitterness of the nut. And then you put a drizzle of honey on at the top. I mean, you probably don't need the honey. I've done it without honey, but the honey, I don't know, it just So good. Kind of going off track now, but trying to live my best life. Not too much regular, just plain sugar. I'm trying to use more natural, not so processed, I guess, sugar. I don't know. Guess sugar is a plant. You get my drift. You know what I mean. Here I am. The recipe does not call for nuts, I don't believe. Actually, it said optional. And I chose to say yes. I didn't have very many nuts yet left. I pretty much used them all, except like 3, but for some reason, I didn't put it in there. But it turned out perfect. This was so good, guys, this bread. It is so good, I will be making it as often as I have zucchini. Here's what the batter looks like. It's quite liquidy, but it turned out great. Also, I'll put on the screen all of the measurements and stuff of what I put in there, but here I'm flouring the pan also. I really didn't want it to stick. This is a non-stick pan, but you know what non-stick means. Sometimes it might not stick. So I oiled it with the coconut oil and I floured it with coconut flour. Lots of coconut. But I'll put the measurements on the screen so you can see all of that. I spilled some on the edges and on the counter, and then it got on the bottom. So right here I'm telling you it's 350 is the degrees. Isn't that great? 350. And I said 45 to 50 minutes. So kind of me. Since I had a dark pan, I did do 45 minutes, and then I checked it. It did take 50 minutes. I'm not sure why, but it was so good. I know this isn't the best, most appetizing picture, but it was bomb diggity. Yes, I was born in the 90s. And yes, I say bomb diggity. Probably all this other stuff that people don't say these days, but it was delicious. Also, see, I didn't chop the nuts up very much, so I was breaking the bread. When I cut, the nuts were like, hello, I'm right here. Also, I was using a butter knife. Okay, also, it was so good warm. I would warm up a piece. It didn't even need butter. Usually, I like to have a big slab of cold butter on top of a hot piece of zucchini bread, but it didn't even need it. It tasted delicious. Okay, I made hash browns, yummy hash browns. So the thing for you, if you want to be a little healthier, not quite so much starch in your hash browns, half zucchini, half potato. Potatoes and broth. I'm using chicken broth because that's what I got, not veggie broth. And what else do we have? We have some garlic powder because I don't have regular. I don't have parsley, but I got that. I'm doing a jalapeno and some carrots and some cauliflower and celery and an onion. Yay! Did you love my singing? I was videoing it and I was like, just singing away, thinking, I'm going to mute this anyways and voice over it. When I listened to it, I thought, so beautiful. I should leave that in. So I did. So you all can listen to that beautiful, beautiful voice of mine. Swiping, no swiping. Y'all can see what I've been watching lately. She thought it was gross. She threw it back. I said, go ahead, lick it, but you're not gonna like it. I know it. And she licked it, and she was like, bleh. And I thought, well, I'm cooking it anyways, so leave it there. That is what I did. Okie doke. I'm using my truly free fruit and veggie wash. I love it. Okay, I'm pretty sure, it's got to do something more than just water, right? I just spray it on my fruits and veggies, let it sit for a second, and scrub it up, dub, and rinse. Who else loves the sounds of cooking? Me! I love the sound of crunching when it chops carrots, onions, not tomatoes, because they're not that great. They don't crunch. And they're hard to cut, especially since my knives are not super sharp. But I just love listening to a crunch. I am just cooking this up first. I don't want crunchy carrots. Just kidding. It's a puree, but I need to soften them a little bit, and my onions too. I am not a big fan of raw onions. I will eat them on like a burger, but not a ton. And then carrots, I just need to soften them for the puree. I enjoy a good roasted carrot. Celery, I don't eat it just with like, I don't know, celery has like no flavor, and then you put like peanut butter on it, and then it's like bitter and no flavor. The textures go good together, but you know, people do celery and peanut butter, and I'm like, I need celery and peanut butter and chocolate chips. Anyways, I gotta cook that up a little bit. Unfortunately, I got this celery and there were quite a few bad parts, so I'm setting the bad parts off to the side and leaving the good ones on the cutting board. I don't know what was wrong with it. Just like the middle of the stalks, some of them was just weird. All things bright and beautiful. Okay. I just gotta saute these. These beautiful veggies. I just think they look so pretty. White, orange, green, red thrown in there. Ooh, excuse me. I don't want tomato in there, but red bell pepper might have looked so pretty. Anyways, it just looks pretty. I like it. I think a lot of people, when they're making vegan, vegetarian foods, they tend to stick to onions, carrots, and celery, like it for everything. I realize I did that a lot, but you don't have to. I actually made some other stuff, some white chili that I'm going to share in probably the next video or maybe 2 videos, where I didn't use celery or carrots. I did use onion though. There was a time there where I had parosmia and onion was the worst. But I finally can eat onion. It was probably the first time where there was no reaction at all, no nasty smell while cooking. And I was so excited that I put onion in everything. I used to put onion in pretty much everything because it is very healthy for you. And so I'm gonna do that again. Look at that fast chopping skills when the babe cries. Gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know. I try to be careful because I don't want Pep's fingers getting under there and me cutting them, because sometimes she is fast. But when I have her the right distance away where she can't reach under there, then I can chop a little faster, so that's nice. Just adding everything together. Honestly, I did it a little bit differently because didn't read the directions. Great, I guess. You're supposed to like saute the veggies in the pot you're using so that you don't have to use more than one pot. So I was trying to hold baby and do this, and I thought, I'll set her down. So I went and I set her in the bumpo, the little thing where they sit up, and she loves it. That's her favorite spot. And I thought this would be great. She'll probably wake right up because she was kind of dozing while I was holding her. She'll probably wake right up, but that's fine. So I set her down and she fell asleep. When I turned around to check on her, she was, leaning to the side, all curled up in the bumpo, falling asleep. So I had to move her to the swing so she could lay down and sleep. It was really cute. She was just tired. She just wanted me for a minute to put her to sleep. With Pep, she always wanted to nurse to sleep, but Bria, she'll nurse and then she's like, just hold me, put me to sleep that way. So I just hold her, pat her on the back, and she goes to sleep. It's usually how it goes. Okay, here I am just putting it in the blender. I had to get a bigger spoon because I had a tiny spoon when I was stirring it. I tried to get as much as I could out. No onion, carrots, celery, cauliflower, potato left behind. And I blended it. Looks beautiful. It turned out this orangey color, probably because of the carrots. I put a little jalapeno on top. Honestly, I didn't think the jalapeno was very spicy. I lick it usually when I cut it. This time I didn't think about that. And yeah, anyways, it was a little spicy, so I added a little extra jalapeno on top, and turns out I didn't need it, but it was still great nonetheless. Moving right along to the jalapeno poppers. Okay, so I never really made jalapeno poppers until I met my husband. He made these and showed me, and I love them. But when I was younger, I did make, I took the canned jalapeno slices, and I took cheese and cream cheese, kind of dolloped it on top, sprinkled some cheese, melted it under the broiler, and that was delicious. But this is great. So if you have canned jalapenos and cream cheese, or just cheese, I liked Parmesan when I did it. Anything really works. Cheese is cheese. It's great. But that's what I used to do when I did not know my husband. But this is what I do now. I haven't done that other one since I was a teenager, probably. And it was good either way. Any sort of jalapeno with any sort of cheese. So in some of these you'll notice I left some more veins, like those two that I just did, but the last one I have, there were no veins at all. I cut them all out. I just like to have a few spicy ones and a few not spicy ones, because you don't want to have a burning mouth or a runny nose the whole time. So I only want a spicy one every other one or every third one. So we used 10 jalapenos. It works. Me and my husband love them. We use 10 or 12 usually, and we each eat half. That's quite a bit, but that's what we do. It's like a meal, basically. We pretty much ate this for dinner one night. These were delicious, just the best, so good. Everybody make them unless you don't like spicy or you're vegan. Don't eat bacon. Green chili enchiladas, chicken and cheese, tortillas, and Las Palmas green chili sauce. Enchilada sauce. It is so good, so easy. Basically 4 ingredients. And it's so good. So honestly, usually we use the canned chicken for this, but we did not have canned chicken. We had frozen chicken breasts. So I was like, well, let me just make it out of chicken breasts. I've done it before a few times, but usually the canned chicken is just more convenient and makes it very quick. So this is how I test to see if the oil's hot enough. I just take a tiny piece of tortilla, I throw it in, If it floats to the top right away, then I know that the oil's hot enough. And that's how I do it. If it doesn't float right away, I mean, you know, it's like, it takes a second. It's like, But if it doesn't float up real fast, then I just wait a little bit longer and try again in a minute. Also, after I fry it, I tap it onto the next tortilla to get some more of the oil off. And then I put it on a napkin to get even more oil off. These enchiladas are super simple and I love them. I grew up eating them. When I was pregnant with Pep, I actually got sick a few times after eating them because, you know, heartburn's just a killer. And so they are spicy. So if you don't like spicy, maybe use a different sauce that's more tomato-y or something, not chili. Or just don't eat enchiladas. Anyway, so after we got married, Tony and I went to his house, and his mom actually made enchiladas, and I was like, oh, these taste a lot like my enchiladas. I'm pretty sure she uses the same in green chili enchilada sauce, so it's good. It's good sauce. Apparently a lot of people use it, or they would have taken it out of the stores years ago. So, just random side note, when I first got married to Tony, I made these enchiladas, and I also made tacos. And when I make tacos, I use the spicy red El Pato sauce. I think the can is yellow and red, maybe has some green on it, I don't know. But I make ground beef, El Pato sauce, and that's it really. And then you put like lettuce and tomatoes on it if you want after you make it, and cheese. And now, like, that's the only way Tony really wants tacos. When I say we could have tacos, he's like, ooh, okay. But that's what comes to his mind. And me, I'm like, how about some chicken tacos with some other sauce, or shrimp tacos, you know, something like that. But here it is. It was delicious. I hope you saw the little bubblies in the corners. I waited like, I don't know, probably between 5 and 10 minutes, and I couldn't wait any longer. I was super excited. I took it out, and my husband wanted to dive right in. I was like, wait, it's bubbling hot. Like, can you see it? He wasn't actually looking at it at the moment, but I was like, it's bubbling hot. Like, it's still bubbling over there. So, so good, guys. So good. Try it. And then I was in the soup mood, and I made a soup, and I wanted to make another soup, or a chili, and so I thought, I am going to make cornbread. I think I have all the ingredients. So I looked at my cornmeal box, and I got the ingredient list off of there, and it is good. I made a few modifications. These are pretty simple. Peppa really wanted to help, so I let her. I was like, okay, sure. We pulled the chair up, fixed it so she could help. I told her, oops, I forgot the measuring cups. Or I didn't even tell her, I was just stating it, and she went and got them for me. I had to help her because she didn't know which ones I needed, but I think we just got whichever ones were clean in the end. Okay, so I did use a gluten-free flour. It doesn't call for gluten-free flour, but I have this gluten-free flour. I used it for like sugar cookies for Easter because I had some cousins coming over for Easter and they don't eat gluten. So I actually usually like the Bob's Red Mill, I think it's what it's called, gluten-free flour. Like, it's a 1-to-1 ratio per the regular flour, whatever. And I couldn't find it, so I got this other stuff. It's like Pillsbury, and it was good. I mean, I only used it for the cookies, and then for this. And I mean, when I made the cookies, I was having parosmia issues, so they kind of stunk really bad to me. But it wasn't the flour's fault. The cornbread turned out delicious, nice and moist, so it worked. 1-to-1 with regular flour, gluten-free, all-purpose flour. It was great. Anyways, I used the whole bag. There was like a teaspoon left in there, and I was like, I'll just dump it in. Pep really wanted to stir it, so I just let her stir it, praying that the bowl doesn't tip over. I really want her to enjoy cooking, just like I do. I have some really good memories cooking with my parents in the kitchen. My dad, he would sing, he would just make up songs as we were cooking or cleaning, and he would just sing them, I don't know, just goofy songs, silly things, and those are some of my fondest memories of when I was little cooking. So I want Pep to have some good memories too, although right now it's like, don't get your fingers in the way, don't put your fingers on the cutting board, you know, don't eat raw egg, don't eat it right now. But she's getting it slowly, and it's always my turn whenever I'm dumping anything, like with the zucchini bread. Did I make that already in this video? She reached to do the milk and it spilled everywhere, and I was like, oh, but it's okay, things happen. Also, I opened the dishwasher, it wasn't quite done yet, but I needed the mixer top, and it was like 2 minutes from being done, so a bunch of steam came out. I put it in the mixer because the honey is crystallized, so it is, I just wanted it to blend in with everything. Blend well into the mixture and not have too many chunks, although there was one piece of cornbread that I ate and it had a little piece of honey and it was so good. I need to just get some more honey and put it on there when I'm eating it, but I have mostly been eating it with my chili and my other soup because also it wasn't really cold enough to do soup yet. It's cold enough, but not really. It was like in the high 70s, and then all of a sudden yesterday it just was freezing cold. We went to the grocery store and it was raining and the wind was blowing. I just got chilled to the bone, and then this morning we went out at 10:30 and it was like 34 degrees. It just all of a sudden dropped, and oh look, it was right here. It wasn't the zucchini bread when we spilled it. It goes right here. Spilled all over the counter. I'll show you again later when I'm done with the disastrous mess we made. It's not just her too. I'm holding Bria, so I'm making a disastrous mess myself. Even without holding her, I'd probably make quite a bit of a mess. Flour everywhere. Yesterday I made something, I don't even know what, and I was like, I can just see the flour on my nose. You know when you have anything on your nose and you're like, get it off, and you just can't quite get it? That's what it was like yesterday. I don't even know what I was making. So it did call for butter, but I did use coconut oil. I have a little bit of butter, but I wanted to use it for my, I want to use it for what's called apple crisp. I'm dying to make apple crisp. You know, it's like a fall thing. So every time fall comes around, I'm like, I want to make it. I think I've made it for a while. Last time I ate it, I think one of my cousins. So I have a couple cousins who live near me. So I think she made it for me, and it was so good. I'm just drooling right now thinking about it. So there's the mixture. Woohoo! I was checking to see if there was any chunks left of honey or coconut oil, because you saw when I poured it in there, the clumps of coconut oil. Okay, so I'm greasing a couple pans. It calls for like an 8x8 pan, but I just had these. That's it. So they're definitely not 8x8. And so I just poured it in there. Also, I thought this was funny. I'm so clever. Just kidding. My mom made a home video a long time ago for one of our family reunions. The fastest way to clean a pan. Just shoot backwards. Anyways, And my great grandma was making rolls, and she had a ball of dough on her finger, and she fed it to one of her sons, I think it was, one of my great uncles. And so my mom thought in this home video she made for our family reunion, she would do it, have her feed it to him, you know, that's how the video was. And then, oh yeah, here's the spilt milk. Oh, everything was everywhere. Anyways, she fed it to him, and then she did it backwards, so it was like him spitting the ball of dough back on her finger and her putting it back into the bowl of dough. It was really funny. Here's the finished product. I'm just kidding. I was seeing if it was done because I had done it in 2 smaller dishes, but nope, the middle is jiggling. Jiggle, jiggle. I stabbed it just for fun, even though I knew it was going to come out soaking wet. Not soaking wet. You get it. And good. This cornbread, whatever it's called, this cornbread turned out really good. It was very moist, delicious. It was called sweet cornbread on the side of the thing, probably because it has 2/3 cup of sugar, but I put honey, and it was just good. It wasn't overly sweet, and it tasted very good with my soup. It actually was, usually when I make cornbread, it seems like it crumbles really easily, but this didn't crumble super easily. So I highly recommend the side of the box of my cornbread. Like and subscribe. Bye.